Hey, I'm just finishing up work in this crazy weather out in North Carolina. And I just want to get this off my chest. And this whole blame shit is ridiculous. And when I speak on women and men, I'm not trying. There's no incentive for me to have a gender war, because if I did gender bait, gender war, and it's so funny, I would have a bigger following than I do. So I obviously ain't doing something right if I'm trying to gender war or bash women. And it's funny how this whole blame, black women get blamed for everything. Black, what are y'all saying? Because black people get blamed for everything because we allow it. So I don't know what y'all talk about, because when black women were getting bashed and blamed during the late 70s, 80s, through the 90s, all the way through the 2000s, and present still, nobody said we got to stop blaming black men for all the ills of the world, especially black women. The ones who did, the ones who actually stood by black men, guess what? Y'all, most of y'all bullied that woman into silence or beat her into submission or unalived her. But y'all don't want to talk about that, especially children. Y'all want to talk about the scary black man. And maybe this should be a separate video. When y'all talked about your fake outrage with Diddy, your fake outrage with so-called Brother Polite, but yet you the same heifers, the same females who will bring creeps around your children, but while alienating the biological father. Y'all protect the rapist, the child rapist, the child predator, y'all even protect the rapist yourself. How about you, even when it comes to DV, how can you women sit up here be on DV, but at the same time, y'all act like y'all don't do nothing wrong? And what I mean by that, y'all be engaging in DV shit and trying to get shit popped off. That's what goes on here. But y'all don't want, and then you got dumbass hyenas, and I'm not going to mention any. The content creator who blocked me recently, I'm still coming for you. Literally. So if I want to do a reaction video to any of you women's content, I have every right to, because this is a public platform. If I want to comment and engage in the discussion, I have every right to, unless you want to hit the block button, but you don't want to have a dialogue. Y'all women, you black women, y'all want black men to stay silent. If a black man cannot be heard, and I'm not talking about the ones who ain't shit, that the ones you chose, because when black women are little girls, when women in general are little girls, they are told by women and they're told by their fathers, regardless if he was present or part-time present or not present at all, or some men in the family tell you, watch out for this dude. Stay away from that dude. I remember the conversations growing up and overhearing, and y'all will even say, talk in front of me, or you're eavesdropping, so we're gonna beat your ass. Y'all don't want to talk about how these women do a lot of child abuse. I'm a survivor of child abuse. And it's just not just physical, the emotional labor, the narcissism, the talking bad about me, using proxy disciplinarians, proxy enforcers. Meanwhile, my biological father, you just want him to be a boss, an enforcer, but not a father. You just want him to serve you. And this is the problem with a lot of women, black women specifically. Y'all say men don't properly lead. Y'all don't know how to properly be women. There are men who know how to properly lead, but you don't know how to properly shut your mouth and take orders. There are a lot of men who are great leaders. Y'all don't want to listen. You are hard-headed. You use sign language of shame, insult, skill to need to be right. You want a man to kiss your ass. If I'm a leader, you're supposed to, oh, I forgot. You don't want to do that for a black man, but you kiss your white tee boss's ass. When you get pulled over by the police or get stopped by the cops, y'all don't cuss them the fuck out. Y'all don't get in their face. And then y'all want to pull the woman card like you a wifey, and then some dumbass heifer. I won't forget. So like this one I was listening to. Shout out to you, Red Supreme, if you ever come across this. I rock with you, brother. Out in California. Well, white women can cuss out a police officer. A white woman can slap a cop and just no consequences. I would check myself on that. Here's the thing about that. Okay, the cops they may talk her down and maybe, just be gentle and take her down and not beat the crap out of her or not unalive her. However, black women, I got a question. If you know there's a double standard when it comes to white females doing something compared to you doing something, and you know you're not going to get the fair treatment, why would you do it? Why would you put yourself in that situation? This is where the accountability comes into play. I know I'm not equal to a white man, even if he's poor and homeless. But if I do something, if I steal, if I get violent, if I grape somebody, I'm not saying I would, if I do harm to a child, I don't get to tell the judge, I don't get to tell the white police officers, well, white men do it too, and white men do it, and y'all don't, and white men can get in your face and talk crazy and be toxic and extra and threaten to kill you, to unalive y'all. And y'all will have a standoff and talk to them and try to negotiate. But meanwhile, when it comes to black men, you want to unalive us and shoot us dead. You want to unalive us and talk about you inferior life. If I know that as a black man, that there's a double standard, I'm not going to put myself in a situation where they can be justified. If we want change, you must get in a position of power. You must unify first, have pride, stop being a goddamn raccoon, and get on code. But black people don't stick together. Y'all say what the men need to do. No, ladies, y'all are the first teachers of these children. Y'all are the first when it comes to mate selection. Y'all have the power to choose to tell men no. And don't tell me that you're afraid to turn a man down. Because most of y'all do that all the time and you'll get off to it. Y'all will talk about if a man turns me down, if I turn him down, he'll do this. That's a lie. I'm not saying it don't happen, but check this out. How many times have men broken up with women, especially when she gets obsessive, and then y'all try to unalive the brother and use proxy online? Look what happened to Brian Banks. If y'all Google Brian Banks, a black man turned down a black girl. He was a black boy in high school. And guess what? She lied and said he raped her and did all types of horrible stuff. And come to find out she lied. And then she admitted to him that she lied. And stalked him on Facebook and told, I lied about the whole thing. It didn't even apologize. You had a black woman. You have women in general who make false allegations, false allegations. You had a woman try to get some other simp to mess her up, some other female hyena to mess her up and say, he abused me, he did this to me. This is what y'all do, but there's no consequence. Well, men run the system. No, it's these elite families of other nations. The ones who don't look like you, but you want to have their Europeanized hair. Y'all want to be like the white woman, but don't want to do no white woman work. Y'all really submit to a white man, won't you? But when it comes to the whole DV thing, when it comes to y'all engage in violence too, more so, and y'all get away with it more. But we don't want to have that conversation. And then y'all say, well, white people can do that. You can't do what they do. When y'all going to accept that fact? Y'all want to protest fairness. Look how y'all blame black men because we didn't vote for. So, and then you say the ones who didn't. You had a lot of white folk who didn't vote. You got a lot of white folk who voted for Trump. And then y'all don't say white men who didn't vote for Kamala. And guess what? Black men voted damn near 80% of black men voted for Kamala Harris. And yet we're still the bad guys. Or then we call idiots for not supporting men's issues while leaning to the right. For so-called traditional values by a particular hyena, Candace Owens. By all these white folks who are in the Republic. You need to join the Republicans. Black men, you're stupid for voting Democratic. I don't get y'all. I don't get y'all. And then on top of that, a lot of you ladies do not want to be led. A lot of y'all want to be led a certain way. Guess what? You cannot dictate what a man does to you or how a man lives his life. You try to control his manner. This is why y'all raise your sons to be simps and beta male simps. And then you complain about ain't no real one. You don't want a real man because you're not a real woman. You want to be a traditional woman in the eyes of European standards. You want to hold us to European standards, and then y'all want to say, oh, you want to be like the white man. No, you want us to be like the white man when it comes to making money, and you want to have superiority. I'm just tired of y'all. And then when it comes to pregnancy, y'all want to have